Mic check. 1 2 1 2.
She's working. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Red Wine and Chaos. We're back at Lars. Hopefully, you can hear the fan.
And not the fucking generator.
We didn't. I think did we talk about this on an episode that?
Yes.
The one after it.
Yes.
How like we didn't realize you could hear the fan until we listened. And I'm not technically savvy enough. Technologically savvy enough to like drown out background noise. I don't know how to do that. And
we don't have like a mixer board or anything. Like when we say studio, we have two table mics and a laptop. You know, like we're using, you know, what a GarageBand.
I didn't buy anything extra.
Bare minimum. That may change though. We may be
We'll
onto
see.
something very soon. We'll see.
We'll see. But we're back at Lars, and we just got done eating Chinese.
Oh, so good.
I'm going to tell you something.
Good call.
Thank you. I am so grateful to our friendship for a number of reasons. But I'll tell you, it's like top 3 gratefulness that you never say no to Chinese.
No.
You're the only person I know that every time I bring it up, like, yep, got it, I'm in.
No, and you know, like I haven't recently, and when I say recently, in the last couple of years, had a lot of Chinese food, and so you know, so for reasons because you know at the time the partner that was in my life doesn't enjoy Chinese food,
yeah,
and so I didn't have it often. You know, like LeVar likes it. You know, it's okay to him. It's not his favorite,
Sure.
but he'll eat it.
He liked them rangoons that I brought last time.
Yes, he did. Do we have any more, Ashley? But like,
I'll
it's
get
not
2 orders next time.
It's not his favorite, but like, so if I was eating it on my own, or
Yeah.
I eat it when I'm with you. I don't have it often, but I'm ready to ramp back up on the Chinese food, and I'm fucking excited about that.
Love it.
Very excited about that.
It's so good.
But I will say this: our palates are very much so very similar,
Yeah.
anyways. So like, if either of one of us make a food suggestion, it's not gonna be like, no, I don't really like that. I can't. I mean, we were coming up with a menu last night. John was like, "What do you want for dinner, sister wives? What do you want for dinner?" And we were like, "Oh, what are we gonna have? What are we gonna have?" And so, like, the last menu that we asked for was Asian influence because that is one of our favorite directions to go with cuisine, whether it be Chinese, Japanese, whatever. Don't know, whatever. Anything soy based, I'm in. I'm gonna put some soy sauce on that bitch, and I'm in. Something salty.
Give me those little packets.
Yeah. So we had the one meal, right? So, and you all saw that. Then we're like, well, what? And so I was trying to think of what sounded good for me. I was like, something comfort foodie sounds good. And Ashley's like, oh, okay. Oh, what are you thinking? I was like, oh, we could do like, I was like, I make a great Salisbury steak with like a mushroom gravy and maybe some mashed potatoes. And she's like, oh, and I said, or even like a burger, like a really good cheeseburger with like sauteed mushrooms. We do some the cracked potatoes, because John makes these potatoes. They're cracked potatoes and they're fucking phenomenal.
We haven't had them in so long.
No, and full transparency, when I make them, they don't turn out the same.
I don't know what he does. And you're not the only
either,
person
but
that
they
has said
don't.
that.
Like they've come close, but they're never the same.
And you're not, like I said, you're not the only person to ever say that.
I have reached out to John for very specific instructions on that, and he gives them to me. And I know the one thing that is truly key is the glass pan. I know that's important, but they still don't. It's either I use too much butter and then it's drowning, and then like the cheese doesn't crisp, or I overcook the cheese and I don't use enough butter. It's like you can't find. He does. I don't. I don't. Anyways, so cracked potatoes. Oh yeah, sounds good. And then I said, you know what, Ashley, I think anything with beef and mushrooms sounds good. And she was like, done. So she tells John, and then John says, stroganoff. And I was like, sure. And then he's like, stroganoff over mashed potatoes. Yeah. So nothing fucked up about that. Sounds great. It was pretty fucking good.
It was pretty good.
It was pretty
I had
tasty.
the leftovers today for lunch. And
Did you? Was it better today?
It was better today.
Oh, everything is better the second day.
Especially that comfort food. I feel like comfort food is so much better the second day. Like,
it is.
Your beef and noodles are better the second day. And your beef and noodles are fucking fire to begin with. But they're better the second day. Spaghetti is better the second day. Lasagna is better the second day.
Because it soaks up all that seasoning and it just marinates in itself, and I'm sure it was better today.
It was.
I had my pizza today. I was happy to have the pizza.
Oh, that's good. John I left one piece there because I wanted to eat it, and John ate it. Cool.
Well, I still have one piece left in here.
That's
if
okay.
you're really hankering for that sweet Memphis from Jasper's. Yeah. Anybody local to here? Jasper's. We went to Jasper's for dinner the other night. Sweet Memphis is where it's at.
We've been spending a lot of time together this week.
We have. Like 3 days in a row. I ain't
like,
mad at it.
I feel like it's like back to normal.
Yeah.
Like it's.
It really is. We'll get to that. But yes, it really is. It's a whole thing. But yes, food was delicious. We did pair it with a wine, though. You can never
No.
go wrong with wine.
Mm-mm.
Doesn't matter what cuisine you're eating.
No.
So it pairs better with some than others, but it's definitely never going to be white.
Never.
So
we are not called White Wine and Chaos.
no, we're not. This is a Portuguese wine called Alria. I don't know what that says on the front. It's a blend. 40% Torriga Nacional, 35% Syrah, and 25% Tinta Roriz. Not bad.
You nailed it,
that. Didn't I? Yeah.
Nailed it.
Yeah. I
One
feel
of
like
your best.
I feel like we've read something similar to this before, and I'm pretty sure I heard you read this yesterday. So, it's a 2019 vintage. It doesn't say a ton on here other than it's a blend of those three things I just read, and I'm not going to do it again because I'd probably fuck it up the second time.
You can't jinx it.
No. It's a wine with intense color, fruity, with a smooth flavor, and a long, pleasant aftertaste. Let me know your thoughts, darling, because I love this wine.
It was so good. I'm going to just drink it now, too. But I remember we were drinking it yesterday as well.
Yes.
And we took that first sip, and we were like,
ooh,
oh, that's really nice. And then like the kind of, I wouldn't even call it spice. It was like a warmth. Like
it was
hit
very
your
warm.
chest after.
Yeah. And it wasn't instant because I go, oh, that's nice. And it was like a very, not overly sweet, but a nice, smooth, fruity, semi-sweet start, and then the finish was super warm.
I'm telling you, it's the blends.
Yeah.
I am becoming more and more of a blend fan the longer we do this, like in the different
regions
types
and
of
stuff.
Blends that we're trying and regions, and like I just am.
Yeah.
I'm a blendy.
Yeah, you are, and I'm right there with you. Like I am definitely becoming to love them. It is very good. I'm a huge fan. I would give it 3 cheers.
Same.
I liked it. My acid reflux didn't. But it doesn't like any wine apparently at this point in time. So I chased it with a couple of Tums, but it was well worth it. Mm-hmm. It was well worth it.
Do you know why I think our acid reflux is acting up?
Why?
Because
we eat a lot of sodium.
Well, that, but I believe
because we drink a lot of wine.
I think we're not drinking enough.
For real.
I think we used to drink more wine than we do now.
And so our body's not used to it.
Yeah.
That's not a problem at all. I'm sorry, Doc. My acid reflux is acting up because I've cut back on my wine intake. And he's going to look at you and be like, bitch, I think you have that backwards.
I think you should continue to cut back.
Bitch, what is wrong with you? Sure. You know what? I love it, though. I love that explanation. It sounds good. I'm with it.
Thank you.
I'm riding with it.
Thank you.
So I guess we'll just have to test that theory.
I'm here for you.
I may suffer all the way through it. And, it sounds like you're suffering with me as well because she texts me the other day. She's like, your acid reflux problem is rubbing off on me. It's a twin tingle thing, It's like, sorry, if I'm in pain, you're in pain. Love you for it.
We even got John involved in the acid reflux.
There must have been something in that meal. I don't know what it was, but it must. I don't know. It wasn't the tahini because I had it the week before. And the tahini didn't bother me, and there wasn't as much tahini on that broccoli as there was the week previous.
No.
It was. I think it was the noodle thing. I didn't even eat all the noodles.
I didn't either.
Something in there got me.
I think me too.
It was the noodles, and it got John too. So it must have been. But it was delicious. It tasted great while it was going down, but it was coming for us. It came for me.
Taste great when it sat right there in my chest.
Hell no! It was like reminiscent of that time I went to the gym and I barfed afterwards. When I went to boot camp because it was just sitting in my chest and I was like, ugh. Trainer looked at me and was like, are you okay?
I forgot that the heartburn made you throw up.
Good God. I'm on like daily meds for it now, and it's still not controlled. Must have to get something stronger. I don't know, man. We'll see. Shit, getting old as a bitch. I'm rounding 38 here in a couple of weeks, and I can tell.
John just turned 38 this week.
Yeah, we're just going downhill. You're not too far behind.
I'm not.
Like 4 months.
I'm
4
not.
plus 5.
I'm not.
You're coming.
It's coming.
It's coming. It's
Age.
coming. Can't stop it.
That bitch comes for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, we were talking about getting old.
Yeah.
And we were part of getting old, right, is like, I don't want to say reevaluating your life, but like
reflection
maybe, like in a different life, what would you be like? What would you do? And so we were talking about what we think we would have done in a different life, career-wise.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
There's a lot of things I would have done differently if I could go back in time, but that's not what we're talking about.
No,
we're purely talking about careers and like, don't say your first one because we're gonna save that for the end.
Okay,
but
I have 2 other ones as well.
Give me one of yours.
Okay, so I fucked myself from the beginning because I had this whole life plan. Okay, I really truly did. I had a whole life plan. It started young. So like, if you think about like, what do you want to be when you grow up?
Right,
that conversation that you have, I knew. In my mind, I knew anyways. I didn't know what life where I was going to land, where I am now. But in my mind, at that point in time, I had the coolest pediatrician on the face of the earth. His name was Dr. Herbner. He was amazing. He was so funny. He did the best Donald Duck impression. He made me love Donald Duck and Mickey Mouse, and my mom made me because I was not a fan of the doctor. I had a lot of pneumonia when I was growing up, so I was in the hospital probably more than an average kid. Yeah. Which is crazy because I'm pretty healthy now, other than that acid reflux. I'm a fairly healthy individual now. But like I had tubes in my ears when I was little. I had mad, ear infections, pneumonia, plantar's warts. I mean, you name it, I had.
Lar was a mess.
I was a mess. Blame it on my brothers. Broken collarbone. That was Andy's fault. He threw me off the fucking merry-go-round, and he spun me so fast I went flying. Broken collarbone. All these things, right? So my mom made me, because I love Dr. Herbner so much, and he did such a good Donald Duck impression, she made me like this pillowcase for my little mini pillow that I would take with me when I go to the doctors. Yeah. So, anyways, loved him. Best Donald Duck impression. The voice was spot on, and I just was so like impressed by him, and he was such a like positive influence on me, and he was such a big part of my life that when I was old enough, they say, what do you want to be? I want to be a doctor, and I wanted to be a kid's doctor.
A pediatrician.
I want to be a pediatrician. That was my goal. I was going to do that. Nothing was going to stop me. That's what I was going to do. I was destined to be a pediatrician. Well, life said otherwise, but that was still in my plan all the way through high school. Like I had worked my ass off, and I focused and got great grades, and that was still my plan. I went to college. I enrolled in school as a biomedical sciences major. That was what I was going to do. I had this asshole of an academic advisor before I had
one of those too.
Dude, I don't even know where they hire these people from. Like, what the fuck? This fucking dickwad tells me, sign up for this class. It was a biology class, and it was a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 a.m.
Gross.
With a lab.
Ew.
This is a weed out class. It was a molecular. I think it was like molecular biology or something. That was class. It's a weed out class. It's tough, but just get it out your way, get it over with. It weeds people out. Like a lot of folks can't. And I'm like, I wasn't, maybe cocky isn't the right word, but I was confident. I was smart. School was easy for me. Yeah. I'm a pretty intelligent human being, believe it or not. And I was like, oh yeah, no problem. Like I can get this done. Not an issue. Well, I never had freedom before. I was, my mom and my parents were relatively strict. My mom was, not my parents. My mom was relatively strict for all the right reasons. I wish I would have probably listened to her more, obviously, when I got to college, but it's neither here nor there. And I got a little taste of freedom, and I fucking blew it. Yeah. And that fucking Friday 8 a.m. class, after there's a thing called Thirsty Thursday.
Yeah, Thursdays are big in college.
Yeah, huge.
Well, they were at Western. I don't know where all y'all went, but
we went to a college that's nicknamed Western.
Yeah.
Hello. Thursdays were big. You were always drunk on Thursday nights. Ask me how many times I made it to that 8 a.m. on Friday.
Seldom.
Then, instead of having the know-all, because I didn't know to withdraw from the course before you couldn't any longer.
Something they don't teach you.
They don't teach you shit.
Yeah.
Like, it is a lot to go to college. There's a lot to know and a lot to learn, and they don't tell you nothing. And they certainly didn't tell me that, like, hey, if it doesn't go well, withdraw from the course before you fuck by this date before you fuck yourself. Had no idea. I fucked myself.
That would have, if I would have known that earlier on, it probably would have changed the trajectory of college for me.
Probably me as well, because what ended up happening is I failed that class. I tried to work my way back and I couldn't. I failed that class and I didn't do great in my other classes. So I started college with a 1.87 GPA my first semester. I was on academic probation. My scholarship got pulled. It was not good. And that class, though, I stayed in it. It was fucking hard.
Yeah.
Like, it was not going to be easy. Even at my best, it was going to be hard.
Yeah.
And so then the trick is retake the class in college so that you can replace that F with a different grade. Never did. Didn't want to. I was nervous. I was like, what if I fail this bitch again? I'm just a fucking failure all the way around.
Right.
And so I changed my major, like, a year in, I think. You know, I never retook that class. I took some other ones, and I was like, I'm not doing this shit. I ain't cut out for this 10 years of school. Fuck this. College is a lot harder than I expected. So I changed my major to education. And then that was when all of a sudden teachers had to go to school forever as well. They don't anymore, but they had changed it where you had to go ongoing into education. I was from a family full of teachers. I'm like, I can do the teaching thing. And I was like, nope, don't want to do that either. Yeah, what do you mean you got to keep going to school? Like, I want to be done. After 4 years, I want to be done. I don't want to keep 5.5 years. I want to be done. I don't want to keep. Listen, took me 5.5, but I did
You did it.
C's get degrees.
That's right.
If there are children, there better not be children listening to this, but if there are children listening to this, don't listen to what I just said. But C's get degrees. I said that to my nephews the other day, and they were like, and I was like, I'm kidding. I don't mean that. Jack was like, what?
But come ask me when you're in college, and we can have a real conversation about it.
So teacher was the second one that I was going to attempt, and I was like, no, that's okay. And then my highly intelligent roommates at the time, Nicole and Aaron, were like, come be an OrCom major. It's super easy. And I was like, bet. Okay, what can I do with that? I went in. I talked to an advisor. They were like, yeah, you can do this, this, and this. Basically, it's very broad, you know. And I was like, well, I'm a manager at a restaurant. Will it apply there? And they're like, yeah, pretty much. And I was like, cool. Just, sign me up. Whatever. So I actually ended up liking it. I took some really cool courses. It's very It's very relationship, performance, human based, and that's my strength, right? Yeah. So come to find out, even though I didn't turn into this pediatrician, which was very human service focused, I just went a different route. So
less college, less money,
less college, less debt, less earnings, for sure. But didn't quite work out the way that I wanted to. But yeah, so I got the OrCom degree. But so anyways, that was my first one.
Pediatrician.
But I do have a second one. But I'll go ahead and let you.
I have a couple as well. I always wanted to coach.
Oh, yeah.
So
Summit.
So my first was teaching.
Okay.
Because all of my favorite teachers were also coaches. Mm-hmm. And also some of my favorite coaches. Mm-hmm. So mine was always teaching or coaching.
Yeah.
And coaching.
Right.
I used to do, like, when I was in high school, I would do all the camps for, like, the little kids. And, like, I loved it. I just fucking loved it. And so I knew I wanted to do something with kids.
And then you went into work into the Y later.
Yeah. Yep. And it was... that was after. So I was in the teaching program when I first started college. That was like where I wanted to go. Mm-hmm. I took a bunch of prereqs the first semester, and then the second semester I went and talked to an advisor, and I was like, okay, this is where I want to go. This is what I want to do. And he was like, well, you got a C in this class, so you're not going to be able to continue. excuse me? You're going to need to take that class again and get a BA. I was like, not true. Not true. That's not true. That's not what any of these requirements say for the next class up.
Right.
And he was like, well, they're really going to want to see that. I was like, who is they?
Yeah, who is they?
Who is they?
Right.
Because it's you.
Right. Were they trying to, like, you think they were trying to, like, minimize the number of folks heading in there or weed it out?
Maybe. I don't know. But he just was like, you're not going to do that.
Or he was just a cranky dick.
I was like,
oh. Want to do their job.
Okay. Awesome. So I guess I need like a plan B. Mm-hmm. And that's when shit went downhill for me, because once he talked me out of that, I had no idea where I wanted to go. I had no idea what I wanted to do until I took another class. I switched majors probably 4 or 5 times, like in my college career, which is probably why I stopped going, because I was tired of going.
Yeah.
I was tired.
Yeah.
I was exhausted.
Right.
I didn't want to do it anymore.
Right.
But, so that was my first, was like teaching and coaching. Like you said, because like Pat Summitt, huge
influence on people and on girls our age who played basketball.
Yeah. And we went.
So many girls I know who wanted to be Pat Summitt.
Oh my gosh, our age especially. And we used to go to this basketball camp like down in Kentucky, and like the women's coaches were there, and like the women's college team, you know, was there with us, and so were the men. But like, I just was like, oh my, well, if I can't play in college, then I'm a coach. I'm going to work my way, and like, that's what I'm going to do. And it's going to be awesome. I'm going to be so excited, and I'm going to love it. And I probably would have. I would have loved it, and I would have been great at it. And
you would have.
But that would have been my first choice.
Nice. I think I've thought about this, and like, this didn't come till a little bit later, because I didn't realize that I have a kind of a natural ability at it. But like, I am obsessed with culinary, the thought of going to culinary school, like in this like other life. It's not to say it's ever too late, but it's kind of like, it'd be kind of hard to like work my way up the ladder and like really explode in that career at 38. And, you know, as a woman anyways, you know, like it's a, you know, there's plenty of women in the field, but, you know, you'd listen to the stories of women chefs who are super successful, and they're like, I had to fight my way to the top. So it's like, 38, you're kind of starting late. But I love cooking, and we should
maybe take like a couple cooking classes. I'm sure they're offered somewhere.
Yeah, I would.
And I'm a terrible cook, so it could
only help
benefit me.
Yeah, absolutely. But like, I didn't realize that I'm pretty good at it until I got older, because I didn't, one, when I was younger, I really didn't do it much. And two, you know, working in the restaurant absolutely like showed me how to appropriately season my food, how to make things homemade. You know, preparations were important, really paying attention to cooking methods and not overcooking food and not undercooking food, and just all of those things. And so my experience kind of led me to that. And I love the hospitality industry, and I love the experience of eating out. Yeah. Like, I love going to restaurants. I love the experience from start to finish. I love going in. I want to see I want to read the room. I want to see what the vibe feels like when you walk into a new restaurant that you've never been before. I get excited. I naturally get like an adrenaline rush, or just like a shot of dopamine, because I'm like, oh, makes me happy. And then it's like you sit down and you're like, let's look at the drink menu, because, you know, we like to drink. So of course we go straight to the drink menus and hope they have some amazing cocktails, which every place pretty much does.
We're going to get one.
Yeah.
Every time.
And then it's like you're starting, and I always want to try an appetizer, and then you just get excited. It's like I'm like a kid in a candy store when it comes to like eating out and restaurants and dining. I'm definitely a foodie, no questions asked, and I truly enjoy cooking. And I can tell you this: if it would have been something that I knew I had discovered early on, that I knew I had a passion for, I would have fucking killed it. Bless you. Thank you. I would have killed it if I had formal training. I would have fucking killed it, because I have a genuine passion for it, and I love it. I sit here and I binge watched that show, The Final Plate, on Netflix in like 2 days. I love watching cooking shows. I love watching technique. I'm amazed at what people can do with food, and it's like, and I love to eat. I mean, at the end of the day, I just love to eat. So that would have been something that I would have done if I would have known how much I loved it.
So the other thing that before we each get to our
our third and final. What I really think I I missed my calling.
Yeah.
Like I missed my calling.
The other thing that I would have enjoyed doing, or like, because I still like you with the cooking, like I have an interest in it. Do not judge me.
I won't.
Not you.
Junie?
Junie already growling.
I don't like where this is going at, Ashley.
The people don't...
Be quiet.
Stop. You're
quiet.
interrupting.
Right, you're so rude.
Is a psychologist.
Oh. What?
I'm obsessed, and not like therapy, which I would have loved as well. But I am still to this day like fascinated with like psychiatric hospitals. I want to go in and I want to just see all the patients, and I want to talk to them and I want to watch what they do, and I want to like learn about like schizophrenia and bipolar, like, but the extreme kind, right? Like
the overdose.
I'm like fascinated with it.
Makes sense.
I'm fascinated with it.
I believe it. I believe it.
Like I literally could just sit in the hallway of a psychiatric hospital just all day. Just give me a chair.
Have you ever been in one?
No,
yeah. I mean, I don't know why you would have been, but I just thought I'd throw it out there and ask him.
I don't think you can like pretend to be an intern.
Yeah, no.
Or like a volunteer. So I don't know how I would have ever gotten into one unless somebody committed me.
I can believe that. I mean, you got to be, and you generally have to have like a passion to do that type of work, because how else would you survive? The other thing about that type of work is you got to like, I think you would be able to leave it at work. Like, I think you could be successful in that. You would have been able to manage that, because if you carry that home with you, it would
like that movie Shutter Island with Leonardo DiCaprio. Have you ever seen that?
No.
Oh,
is it crazy?
It's bananas.
I might have to look it up. Is it scary?
No, it's twisty.
It's twisty, but it's not scary. Okay. I may watch it tonight then.
That would be like... That's like, that movie is like my dream.
Okay. All right. Check out
I would love to do that.
Okay.
And then come home to like my doggy hospice.
Right. That's like a 2.5 doggy hospice. Slide that in there. I like how you did that. I can believe that, though, considering some of the conversations we've had recently and things that fascinate you. I believe it. Things that fascinate you / disgust you all at the same time. Like it's yeah.
But maybe it wouldn't disgust me if I knew.
If you could analyze the why, if you could dig deep down.
And I think that's what it is for me, is like, I don't like surprises. I like to do my research. I like to know why. I like to know
how things work, why they function,
how things work, where people are coming from. Like, that's a big one for me. I think, which is why I think Stephanie said this to me the other day. She's like, you're kind of like this peacekeeper in like the group. Like, you're just, you don't kind of dive one way or the other. You just kind of listen to everyone's story, and you're like, well, maybe we should look at it this way, or do it this way, or talk about it here. Maybe the two of you should talk, or but like, what makes people tick like that? If I could do it in a constructive, researching type of manner, like I would love that.
Yeah. I could see that.
I would love that. Like that whole, did you ever watch Mindhunter on Netflix? So Mindhunter is this, it's about when the behavioral analysis sector of the FBI opened, and what they did, I think it's like partially, I think it's based on true events, and but
it's still a little fictional.
It's still a fictional show. And these two guys go and they start interviewing serial killers to figure,
like you told me about
to figure out why they did what they did. Is there a commonality? How would we look for future serial killers? Like that shit is up my alley. I would love to do that. But again,
well, essentially,
I didn't want to be stuck in college for 47 years.
Right.
So
and have all that debt and stuff. Yeah. So that you never get to pay off till you start making real money, which is 10, 15 years down the road. Yeah. Well, we could have maybe we could have worked together at some point then, if I would have followed what I think my true calling is. And I don't think it's too late for this. I still think I could go into business for this and figure it out. I don't know. So here's the thing. I want to look into and do a little bit more extra research to see if there's like a certification what is it that I can do to try to get, I don't know, I have to look, but like, so I have this, you know, like people say like a woman's intuition isn't wrong, and I'm not talking about just in dealing with men. I'm talking about just in general,
everything.
Like just in everything. Like
something feels off.
Yeah,
maybe
like,
we shouldn't go there. Maybe.
Yeah, yeah. Like I have, I've heard people talk about themselves before and call themselves visionaries. I had this vision. I can see. Yeah, right.
Why don't you go see my friend Ashley? She's going to analyze the fuck out of you.
You're a sociopath, right? No, you're not a visionary. You might be a sociopath. But I do not consider myself a visionary, but I can tell you this, that I have a very strong instinct about things. You know, like some things I may not be able to read great, but what I can initially, maybe out the gate, but what I can say is when I feel something, I'm going to look into it. I'm going to look into it thoroughly. I know exactly where to go. I know exactly how to find what it is I'm looking for.
0 stones unturned.
There are 0 stones unturned, and it's done in a very quick, efficient manner.
Effective.
Very effective. I can find anything, anywhere, anytime. Technology is the best tool ever, but it doesn't even have to be technology. There are things, and then the other thing is that things just have a tendency to fucking come to me. It's like they fall in my fucking lap sometimes. And so I genuinely think I missed my calling as like a private investigator or a detective. Yeah. I do think that. Yeah. I have this, first of all, I love true crime shows, and then when I watch those, I'm listening and watching like interrogations. I'm watching the way they talk to these people. I'm watching the way these people move, act, feel. That's the other thing. I read people. I read a room. I read people, and I'm looking at you, and I may go along with you. I may not say a word. I may not say a word, and you think you got over on me or whatever it is. I'm not going to say a fucking word to you, but I can read you from a mile away, and then I'm going to take what I think I read, and I'm going to do additional research. I'm going to do additional research, and I'm going to prove what my theory is, and I'm going to prove myself right. It's rare that I'm wrong.
And it's no longer a theory.
And it's no longer theory. It's now a proven fucking fact. And I'm going to sit on it, and I'm not going to speak on it. That's the other thing. I don't have a lot of patience in life, but when it comes to this stuff, I have a crazy amount of patience.
Because again, you have that intuition where there is a time and a place.
Yes, to deliver.
To show you a card or two.
Sure. Yep. And so, like, I sit on things for an unbelievable amount of time sometimes, and I just sit on them until I know that it's time to display a card or two, or maybe the whole fucking deck. It doesn't matter, but it's just amazing. So I just I'm really proud of my sensies when it comes to that type of things. It's weird, it's wild, it's strong, and
Sensies and Blendies,
and then it's like. Sensies and Blendies. It's the name of this episode. And then I just put it all together, and it's just like magic. And so I absolutely think that I missed. And the other thing is like, it's not just me. I'm not just doing it for myself. People who know me will say, Laura, can you
X, Y, and Z.
I need this X, Y, and Z. Can you look this up for me? Hey, or Nicole will text me, or Ashley will text me, or call me, or Ann, or whoever, and be like, hey, I have a quick question. What do you? And I'm like, I'm on it. Give me 5. You know, I've had my colleagues do it. Like, it's not just like a little known thing that I keep to myself. Like, people know that there's and they'll be like, how the fuck did you? You have no idea. You have no idea my set of skills.
And I don't need to tell you.
No, I don't. It's part of my gig. No, I don't. I'm not going to tell you. But it doesn't take me long.
No,
it does not take me long. I know how to look for things. I know where to look, and because of my intuition and my senses, truly, like, it leads me to it much faster than an average person who would be like, I don't even know where to start. I can tell you where to start.
You're like a old Huck
I'm
over
like
there
a
from
fucking
Scandal.
Yes. Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yes. Yes.
Uh-huh.
I am. And yes, I really am.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh, he was like my favorite character.
He was so great.
He was so great. And he was
what a great character. Yeah. Such a good, his character was written so well.
It was. He was a good person, but he had a dark side to him. You know?
Don't we all?
Oh, well.
don't we all?
But yeah, private investigator, detective. The only thing, like, so I always wondered that, like, can you skip the whole, like, working in the streets as a cop and go straight to private investigator, detective? I don't think you can. So, like, I don't know how that works. But
we can talk to J-Rut. He'll tell us.
Like, and I think like there are people who hire like private investigators or something.
There sure are.
Yeah, but like I think that's a service.
How do you get into that gig?
Yeah, I don't know. So I'm wondering, is there like a certification or are there classes or like how to? So I don't know. I think maybe I should look into it a little.
Maybe
further.
we should just keep this podcast up and then people can reach out to it. We can add that on the website as an additional like a subset.
Yeah, like if there's something you want to know, let me know. If you need some digging done,
got it.
You need me to go stake out a house.
Done
I got
that.
you. Done that. done that. Done that. Done it trying to be conspicuous and done it not giving a fuck. Blatantly just here I am. Found
what are you going to do?
Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, that's where you were at? No, this is where you're at. And I'm sitting here staring you in your face and I'm like, lie to me again. I'm sorry. Oh, I thought you weren't here. Lie to me again. Here I am.
Hello.
Hello. Drive away now. Bye. Lie to me again. Doesn't make me crazy. Just makes me highly intelligent and not somebody you can fuck over.
I was going to say, I think it just makes you efficient.
Yeah, very
with
efficient.
your life, yes. Right? Like in extracurriculars in particular of any nature.
Yeah. Well, and I don't, I think when people are doing you dirty and lying to you for stupid ass reasons, it's like it's my job to figure out the truth. I seek the truth. I seek out the truth. I want to know, and it's not going to change that person. It's not going to change the outcome, but God damn it, I'll feel better when I know the truth because I just feel like I should.
Agreed. Mm. Don't we all deserve that?
Yeah, I think so. Be quiet. You are not a guard dog. Yes, I am.
Shh.
Get them, Mom.
Junie, why are you always interrupting me?
They're coming in.
I just let you stay at my house and eat my food.
Be quiet.
Go lay down is somewhere. So tough.
Look at her shack. Go lay down somewhere.
Damn it, Mom.
I want to get them. Okay.
My Junie, I swear to God, if you interrupt me again.
Lay down. She literally just like side-eyed me and under her breath cussed me out. Be quiet.
My I in another life, like truly in another life, should have been and would have been an excellent lawyer.
Absolutely, no questions asked.
Because while I may not be quick on the trigger with the investigative skills,
you would have been partners. You would have hired
been,
me, and then you would have closed it.
I would have been the kind of lawyer that Johnny Depp had.
Yeah. Well,
very passive aggressive, very to the point, very. I'm curious what you're going to rebuttal with after I just demolished you.
Yeah. Yeah. And then already knowing and having something to come back with it.
Yeah. After I just blew up your whole case. Yeah. Yeah. I'm curious how you're going to dig yourself out of this hole.
Yeah,
I'll wait.
And you have a real way with words, you have a real way with the spoken and written word. Like, you would have professionally tore people's assholes open. Like, it would have been amazing to watch. Yeah, we could have partnered.
We could have totally done it.
We could have made a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not too late. I mean, for you,
maybe the lawyer thing.
Lawyer thing might be the lawyer thing. That's kind of a lot. Like, maybe you could just, if we do the private investigator,
I could do like the pre-lawyer thing. Like, I could just go, like, or intimidate people.
Or we can just, you can do the books.
Listen, here's what we have. I'm just curious if legal action is something you're willing to pursue, if you know what we're looking at. It's not all we have. So if you're going to pursue legal action, just know that there's more coming, and that's on you to decide.
You could have hosted the show Cheaters, like Joey Greco. I literally was watching it the other day, and you're like a female version of Joey Greco. Like, he's over there, like, analyzing, like, he's so, like, very professionally analyzing, and sir, well, why did you think that was acceptable? Like, you'd completely, that would be you. You'd be tearing them apart professionally, their entire asshole, like, right in front of them. And they're all trying to fight each other and stuff. You could have been the female Joey Greco. There's a new show coming out with Tammy from Basketball Wives. Yeah. And previously Real World years and years ago. Yeah. It's a new version of Cheaters, and she's hosting it.
Oh, that should have been my gig.
Yeah. And it looks looks right up my alley.
Tammy, if you need a co-host or a fill-in host, Lar and I are available.
If you need somebody to do the behind-the-scenes work, I got you covered. Because I promise you, I'll probably do it for cheaper, and I may not have the license, but I can find you exactly what you need.
And then some.
And then some. Yeah, I'm going to find you more.
And Ashley's going to write it down on paper in a very... you won't even have to think. You just got to read.
I love it. I love it. Absolutely. Yeah. Yep. Those investigative skills, unfortunately, I've had to use more of them than I would like to admit in my own life, and
recently.
Very recently, for an extended period of time, unfortunately, but very recently. And it's been a journey. It's been a long journey. And but in the upcoming weeks,
we have decided that it will be a doozy of a story.
Yeah, it's my real life. It really happened. It's the life that I experienced. It's not the highlight of my life by any means, but it's definitely part of my life story and who I am, and will lead to who I'm going to be in the future. But it is it's a doozy. I couldn't make it up if I tried. I really couldn't make it up if I tried. But it's not full of highlights. There were some highs, but there were a lot of lows in ways that I never ever thought that I would experience in my own life. And it's been something that I've been going through actively, and Ashley has always been by my side, obviously, as my friend, as my sister, as my family. And we believe that there is a ridiculous amount of importance to bring this story to the front, because we both genuinely, and I truly, even though it's my story and it's wild and it's a lot to share. It's a lot. It's going to put me in my most vulnerable state.
And it's not going to be a quick share.
No.
This is a think chapters.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not going to be pleasant. There's going to be some very serious topics that we talk about, but just a fair warning, in advance, that there's going to be some uncomfortable discussions. There's going to be some things that people who have listened to our podcast, or maybe will listen, are currently experiencing, have experienced in their past, or hopefully don't experience in their future. But I think that it's important to share, because if it can help one single person, with hope, with grace for themselves,
with knowledge,
with resources, with methods of how to manage and get through such a situation, with being the support system for somebody, and not knowing how to support somebody that you love so much that's going through some stuff. We truly think that it is. We started Red Wine and Chaos. If you go back and listen to even some of our first episodes,
yep.
We made it very clear that we were going to be honest. We were going to be vulnerable. We were going to talk about topics that were going to be tough. Mm-hmm. We were going to be our authentic selves.
Both for us and for people to hear.
Yeah.
We've never been shy about that.
No. And clearly, because this is my life, there's been some... This is going to be tough. it's going to be tough for me to share. There was some hesitation about, and still just navigating how to share all of it in a way that is still meaningful, very impactful, and yet still I can maintain my dignity, you know, and my poise. And, you know, I'm not somebody who this is not to slander anybody. The purpose of this is not to slander any individual. This is my story. It's real. It obviously involved another individual. And don't know where that individual is going to land, but I do know what my goal is and where I'm going to end. And I know that I hope that it can help somebody else along the way. And I'm just going to be my real, authentic, genuine self and sharing it. It's important. And hope that for the pain that I have endured, there has to be a reason. I have to find the silver lining.
And I think, you know, knowing you and being your support for as many years as I have been, not just these last couple, I've always encouraged you to, if you can't talk about it, if you can't say it, but you got to get it out. Write it down. Put it in a text and delete it. Put it in your notes. Write it on a piece of paper and throw it away. But you have to get it off of your chest and out of your mind in order to heal or move on or move forward. And I think that I know I respond better that way when I get everything out. It's kind of like that word vomiting thing. Like if I just word vomit and get it all out and like worst case scenario shit, like I can pull myself back and it makes me feel better. And I think you've got that in you a little bit. I think it helps. It's kind of cathartic to share some things. And there will be details that are left out for privacy reasons, for personal reasons, for whatever fuck reason Laura wants to leave them out. But I think it's going to be an interesting next journey in this podcast.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be cathartic for you. I think it's going to be helpful for so many. Like you said, whether that's from, because while it is your story,
it's the story of how many other thousands of people,
yes,
men, women alike, you know, it's something that is that it is everyday life for so many people, and it's
not talked about.
It's not shared enough. And I can tell you, I would have never imagined that I would be somebody sitting here and sharing, for one, this having had been part of my life, two, having a platform to talk about it and actually potentially reach somebody. If it's one fucking person, I don't care if it's one fucking person, because sometimes those one fucking things that I would read or that I would hear or that I would hang on to, because just as with my ability to do private investigation, I research everything thoroughly. And while I was living this, I was teaching myself ways to survive, teaching myself signs, trying to understand, reading to understand what I was going through, why I was in it, why I was struggling to get out of it, how was I going to, what was that going to look like, utilizing therapy as a tool to help me manage and deal and cope. And it was like, you have to have just something to hang on to. And Ashley and I were talking, I mean, we've been, you know, obviously talking about it for a couple of years now, but just very deeply in the last few days as things have kind of blown up and exploded and progressed. Something she said to me that I will never forget and that I'm grateful for is, you know, you had to learn how to support me and love me without pushing, because of course you want to jump in and be like, girl, Let me, what are you doing? Come on. Want to shake me probably and pull me and be like, let's go. This ain't, no, we're done doing this. This is done. You ain't doing, no, I'm not watching this no more. I can't. But now there's no manual. There's no book. There's no written code as to how this is going to go. Every single person's journey and experience is different. And she said, I had to, and had other friends of ours say, you're her best friend. You have to help her. You have to. And you said, I have to hold one hand and I can't let go. I had to hold that one hand because I couldn't give that other hand to that other person. They're not getting both hands. So I don't want her to take her hand from me if I'm trying to force something. I'm going to be this soft pillow. I'm going to be this safe place. And I'm going to be whatever you need me to be. But I ain't letting go of that one hand. And you didn't.
No, not once.
Not once. You didn't. There were a couple times we had to figure out how to navigate that. And it was challenging. And I didn't know how to react. And you didn't know how to react. But you never let go of my hand. You never let go. From the minute shit started looking shifty early on, we're talking a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. From 2 years ago, 2 years of this, of trying to navigate this from her side, from my side. And I know that sounds crazy, but as this series of episodes will continue, what I can tell you is it seems like, wow, 2 years, why would you go through something that you, folks, I promise you, you're going to understand why it's just not that easy. It really just doesn't work like that, depending on the situation. And in this situation, it wasn't going to happen that way.
No. And I am not, the way I held your hand, is not going to work for everyone.
No.
But you know, your hope, right, is to help someone through this. And my hope is for people to take what I did and expand that into their own lives,
and be able to apply it to whatever.
Correct.
Everybody's needs are different. You knew me enough to know or figured out and figured it out what I needed from you to get through it. And you figured it out. You legitimately figured it out. Yeah. Without question. And some people are like, what are you doing? And you're like, I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing.
It doesn't feel right.
Maybe I didn't know in the beginning, but I know what I'm doing. I figured it out. Let me do my thing.
And it didn't feel right a lot of the times.
Yeah.
But it was necessary.
Yeah.
And my hope is that people understand that as a support, even as somebody going through it, but like as a support system, the obvious answer is not always the right one.
No.
It's not.
I promise you, in these type of complicated relationships and these sort of environments, it's not, nothing is obvious. It's not because I'm a highly intelligent human being. I am not slow. I do not struggle. I am very logical. I'm a very logical human being. It is, nothing is just this easy answer. It's just not. It's not, because it's so complicated. Yeah. I promise you.
There's a lot of layers to this onion.
Yeah.
And
buckle up.
We're going to peel them back.
For real.
I hope you'll stick around for the ride.
Yeah.
I know we ask you guys to do that every week, but this is a big one.
And you know what? If it's somebody that we know and love who's a faithful listener, who maybe they're not directly going through it, but I bet you know somebody who is.
I bet you do.
And if this is something you can share with them, you know, if you it might be something you just share on your page, you know, as we start rolling these episodes out and we start talking about some of these very deep issues that are very serious. If you share it with share it on your page, it could be somebody who sees it on your page that's going through it. You don't know whose life you could help, impact, save. You have no idea. You have no idea.
And I know it was a little cryptic. If you're close, you'll know. If you're not,
stay tuned.
Stay tuned. you're gonna, and even if you are close, stay tuned because it's not
it's
not as surface level as you think it might be.
And to those who are close, there's some people that I consider some of my best friends and closest in our circle, and they have no idea.
Yeah,
they have no idea what I have endured in the last 2.5 years. They don't know, and that's by choice, right? I'm not somebody who is I don't share all my business. I have a very public platform obviously here, but while going through it, it's not something that I was going to share, obviously, for a number of different reasons. I was trying to navigate. I was trying to fix it. I was trying to fix it. I was hanging on, trying to fix something that's not fixable. Trying to fix someone that is not, there was nothing I could do.
Right.
So,
which is a lot to learn in itself.
Yeah. But to those who are close and, don't know, don't take it personal. It wasn't because I don't love you, and it's because it's a lot, and you'll understand more if you hang in there and stay tuned.
And I hope you all realize, after the first maybe few chapters, episodes of this next round, why we really preach not being a dick.
Man.
It could not be more of our motto, and I promise you're gonna see it.
Man, don't be a dick. Woo, boy. And when we called it Red Wine and Chaos, I didn't even know, I was in it, but I wasn't in it, not fully in it like I ended up in it. Man, the chaos was real, folks.
And super inevitable.
It was inevitable, just based on, but that's why there's wine, and that's why there's people to hold your hand and not let go. You gotta have them. I ain't never expressed it enough. Man, my people and my tribe, I can't, we get, there's people who see our circle of friends and will literally say, I am just blown away. We have one woman that I know is listening to this episode as it drops on Thursday. If she's not, she will catch up on it and she will let us know. And she regularly speaks to the closeness of our circle and the blessing that we have. And I know, like I said, even some of those closest to me have no idea what's been going on, and it's not personal. It's not because I didn't want you in my life or involved. It's because I had to figure it out. There's a lot that goes into it again, but our circle is something that is fucking invaluable, and it is irreplaceable, and it cannot be penetrated.
Yep. Even
by the darkest fucking corners of the world. And I am forever grateful for you and for everybody else in it, because I wouldn't be able to do it without you.
Well, let me tell you about my best friend. So tune in, you guys, next week.
Yeah.
The realness. It's real.
I'm gonna have to take a lot of breaths, and we're gonna drink a lot of wine.
Better bring those tongues.
Cheers, y'all.
Bye.